This is Stuff You Like, and The Truth is the 25th Discworld book featuring a wordsmith, posh people, parents, and the power of words. Terry Prachett started working as a journalist at the age of 17, and The Truth is, among other things, something of an ode to local journalism. Because no matter where in the multiverse you go, there's always a man who grew humorously shaped vegetables in his greenhouse, and the truth is always much stranger than you ever thought. One of the things that Prachett said about journalism stuck with me recently. It worried me that in the nature of journalism you had to chop the world up into little lumps of 150 words. You could never tell the whole story. I made a video for my patrons in which I discussed, among other things, why I quit Twitter, but the main reasons were first that it wasn't really fun anymore, and second that it really wasn't useful. Few people's views of the world are notably changed after arguing on social media, especially social media with such a strict character limit. The world is too complex and nuanced and interesting to be chopped up into 150 words, let alone 280 characters. You can fit catchphrases into that many characters, slogans, sure, but actual factual concepts? Still, at least with 150 words, you can make a start. The plot of The Truth goeth thusly. William de Worde, younger brother of they more beloved and now deceased older brother, has fallen out with his father and made his way to Ankh-Morpork, where he makes his living as a writer. William de Worde. Things written down. Once a month he writes a letter of news for various important people, and he uses an engraver to make copies. But then some dwarves arrive with the printing press and all heck breaks loose. The wizards are upset, the engravers are upset, Lord Veterinary is mildly suspicious. But the dwarves, and William and Saccharissa Cripslock, daughter of the now unemployed engraver, set up a newspaper where they print the news every day and sell it to anyone who wants to read it. There's a plot to supplant the Patrician, the City Watch feature quite heavily, as do Gaspo the Wonder Dog and Foul Old Ron, and we're also introduced to Mr. Tulip and Mr. Pin of the new firm, who are not very nice people. It comes to a head, as these things do, and it turns out that Lord de Worde, William's father, was behind the plot to supplant Veterinary, and it also turns out that William is not so unlike his father as he would fondly imagine. But they're enough unlike that all ends well. You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free, Jesus said, to which Gloria Steinem added, but first it might piss you off. As I said, The Truth, as Discworld books tend to be, is about a lot of things, but there is a theme here that Prachett keeps returning to, and that is accountability. Especially accountability when there might not be anyone to provide it. Who watches the Watchman is first said as Quis custodiet custard in Guards, and Prachett returns to it more fully with Vimes in Thud. And of course the witches are constantly watching each other for signs that someone is going dark. But William de Worde and his newspaper have no accountability. In fact, the de Wordes in general don't have much in the way of accountability. That's what privilege means, they say. Privilegi. Private law. But of course people really need accountability because no one thinks they're evil, do they? If we couldn't justify the things we did to ourselves at least a little, then we probably wouldn't do them so much. When William and Vimes clash, Vimes hits the nail squarely on the head, as is his wont. I don't trust you, Mr. de Worde, and I've just realised why. It's not that you're going to cause trouble. Dealing with trouble is my job, it's what I'm paid for, that's why they give me an armour allowance. But who are you responsible to? I have to answer for what I do, though right now I'm damned if I know who to, but you. It seems to me you can do what the hell you like. I suppose I'm answerable to the truth, sir. Oh, really? How, exactly? Sorry? If you tell lies, does the truth come and smack you in the face? I'm impressed. Ordinary everyday people like me are responsible to other people. Even Veterinary always has one eye on the guilds. But you are answerable to the truth. Amazing. Of course, that's the thing about journalism. If it's accountable to no one, then you end up with things like the Ankh-Morpork Inquirer, where they talk about reigns of frogs, or people being taken away by silver dishes, or women giving birth to, what was it, snakes? In Lancre? Fake news, in other words. But William de Worde, the Disc's first ever newspaper editor, holds himself accountable to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. At least most of the time. That's a bit of a family trait though, isn't it? Lord de Worde doesn't consider himself accountable to anything but his own ideals. Responsible to other people? And William is also a high-handed supercilious twerp on occasion, because it is often true that we are more like our parents than we would care to admit. But the difference is he doesn't want to be. And the other difference is that William is not just accountable to his own ideals, he is accountable to other people who share those ideals. Because, like I said, high ideals are all well and good, but no one on their own ever really thinks they're evil. Now do they? And so you need other people to keep you on the straight and narrow, and William has all of these people, the dwarves and Otto and Saccharissa. But when it comes to the end and he confronts his father, he tells him to leave. He doesn't print his father's name in the newspaper, he doesn't hand his father over to the Watch. He doesn't tell the whole truth. I mean, he doesn't lie, but he doesn't tell the whole truth. But still, every day in every way we are getting better and better. William de Worde does show up briefly in later books, Monstrous Regiment, Going Postal, Making Money, Unseen Academicals, but this is his book. And I love it. A lie can run around the world before the truth has got its boots on is an oft-repeated refrain in this book. And that's truer now than it was then, given the internet and social media and fake news and monetizing the filter bubble and all of those things. But there are, I hope, many people in the world like William and Saccharissa and Sir Terry Prachett. People who, by way of journalism or fantasy novels or whatever else comes to hand, give the truth away to kids. Thank you as always to my patrons, you are wonderful people. If you would like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/JillBearup and sign up there. If you like this video, you can click the like button or subscribe or definitely share, and I'll see you next time.